guarantee people access through them. And after all that work, to see people violating those ordinances, often big companies, corporate landlords, owners of downtown buildings who are not taking care of them and following our ordinances, flagrantly violate those ordinances and to have no recourse. And as Matt said, to not have a tool that is available to most other cities in Minnesota and most other cities in the nation. So to me, this is not only common sense, it is essential to making life better and more fair in our community. So we urge voters to join us, all of us, behind me and many others who are not here right now, in voting yes on question number 1. Thank you.
Next up is State Representative Kaohly.
Good morning, everyone. I'm State Representative Kaohly, and I stand here in support of vote yes on question number 1. You know, I thought a lot about this, about why it is important for us to be here today. And I'm proud to join so many of my colleagues from the state legislature who have endorsed this. You might ask why so many state legislators have stepped up to take interest in this city policy. In Minnesota, cities like St. Paul have led the way for bigger change. When my DFL colleagues and I were working to pass Earn Sick and Save Time at the state level, we were able to point to cities like St. Paul. We could show that it helped workers, businesses, and the whole community. The stronger and more successful our local ordinances, the more they will inspire statewide changes. Minneapolis and other cities can use civil administrative, and other cities can use civil administrative fines to enforce the ordinances like Earn Sick and Save Time, and St. Paul should have the same ability. We can see how fast the winds of political change can blow. Even if we now have a strong state law on Earn Sick and Save Time, nothing is guaranteed. We need to change our charter. We urge all those voting this fall to support this question and to support this initiative. Thank you so much.
Next up, Mayor Melvin Carter.
Thank you so much, former Councilmember Pravatsky. Thank you, Representative Hurt. Thank you, Council President Noecker. I'm Melvin Carter, and I serve as mayor of the city of St. Paul. I've been a part of the city government for a very long time. And all the way through that, there are these moments where people say, hey, I'm glad we're addressing this problem, but how to get to that point? And we talk a lot to folks about the need for what I think of as sort of more medium tools. We have many situations in our city where we might want somebody to do something different, whether that's being able to enforce our minimum wage, enforce our wage theft policies, whether that's, as the council president said, requiring folks to keep their skyways open or keeping our streets open through a construction project. And we end up having the choices of either do nothing or file a criminal penalty. That limits our hands, because obviously there's a lot of those places where it doesn't feel appropriate to put something on someone's criminal record, but there's still something we need to be able to do. Administrative citations. Having a civil citation tool is something that many other cities have, most other cities have. It's something that would enable us to intervene a little more proactively, enable us to engage people and bring folks to the table in some of those areas where we can do more as a community to meet our community needs, to meet our community value proposition. This is something that will have no impact on folks who are going to work and mowing their lawn and obeying the city's kind of requirements and connecting with their neighbors. And this is something that will help to ensure those members of our community, those property owners, maybe those landlords, different folks in our community are stepping to the table, are coming to the table to address problems in community on the front end before we get to the point where something has gone kind of all the way to the extreme level. This is something that is simple. This is something that's critical for our city. It's something that will help us to be able to maintain our community standards. And I appreciate the faith leaders. I appreciate the labor leaders. I appreciate the community leaders and the elected leaders who have come together to just share with community members how critical this is to the future of our city. So thank you all. We're voting yes on question 1. Thank you, sir.
Two more things I forgot to mention. My name, Matt Pravatsky. I'm the chair of the Yes for a Fair St. Paul Coalition. And then I also forgot to mention, Council President Noecker spoke to this a bit, but this already passed through the Charter Commission, unanimously passed by the City Council 7-0, and supported and signed by Mayor Melvin Carter. So just to show the breadth and the unanimous level of support we've seen at every step of the process. Now we're open to questions.
I think Mayor Carter said that this won't impact people who are mowing their lawn. Is that really true? I mean, you're giving more power to the Department of Safety and Inspections to issue citations if they see something that's not in compliance, including somebody's, pollinator garden's too tall.
Right.
Isn't that fine to
Right.
right for everyone other than the big corporations that can
Right.
easily pay off, a billboard company can easily pay off a small fine? For me as a homeowner, much bigger
Right.
deal.
Well, I'll answer part of that, and then I'll hand it over to Mayor Carter. One piece I also want to mention, the City Council was very intentional earlier this year when this was being reviewed, and I want to give a lot of credit Councilmember Anika Bowie, Council President Rebecca Noecker for the work they did there to put in place safeguards for when a new administrative citation process is put in place. There's a commitment from the city to ensure it's meeting our equity and fairness principles and goals. So for instance, when each one of these is drafted in ordinance, in local law, there will be a careful process to ensure that it is built on those equitable values. So to your question, homeowners aren't over penalized, small businesses aren't over penalized, and Mayor Carter.
Thank you. And that's an important question, an important point. The first point, and you evoked it, former Councilmember Vravatsky, but that's even if this question passes, any implementation of any specific administrative citation would require a city council vote. That would be a new process and a new law that our St. Paul residents would have an opportunity to weigh in on, just the same as they get a chance to weigh in on everything. We've worked hard to ensure that we're building a culture within our city government that's focused on helping people succeed, making it clear what our goals are, making it clear what our standards are, and using a tool like a citation as a tool of last resort, so that we're helping to facilitate, so that we're focused more on helping to facilitate success than helping to catch failure. Like I said, for those folks who are maintaining our community standards, who are following our community expectations, it probably isn't accurate that it would have no impact on them. The impact it would have is it would give us stronger tools to be able to encourage other people to uphold those standards as well. So it would be a net positive for us.
Can I add one more thing?
Please.
I really appreciate the question, Fred, and I would echo everything that former Councilmember Vravatsky and Mayor Carter just said. I would also add, as Council President, who's going to be shepherding through a lot of the legislation that would actually use this tool, because as the mayor said, we have to pass ordinances to actually allow us to use this tool. I can tell you that we are only going to want to use this tool where we need to. So we currently have a very effective way of ensuring that tall grass and weeds come down, right? We send you a letter and we say, please cut your tall grass and weeds. And if after repeated attempts you don't do that, we'll come out and cut your grass and weeds for you, and then we'll send you a bill. If someone is locking their skyways illegally, trapping people in the skyways, we can't send them a letter and say, unlock your skyways, or we're going to come unlock them for you, because we can't unlock those skyways for them, right? If someone is not paying a fair wage, we can't send them a letter and say, pay a fair wage, and then pay the wage ourselves and assess the business for it, right? So these are the examples where we don't have an effective tool. We need something like administrative citations to get the job done.
Well answered. Thank you.
Any other questions? I think, and others can speak to this too, I think that would depend on how it's shaped. So for instance, in the minimum wage ordinance, the earned sick and safe time ordinance, tenant protections ordinance, these are actually already built with the need for administrative citations there. So I think those collections would follow a similar process to how our abatement and other fines go in now. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get a group photo? No? Yeah. All right, can we just back up a little bit and get a quick photo? A little bit, please.